What's up, everybody? I'm Yogi Chris, captain of IMC Nation, founder of Ninth Limb Yoga, also a PhD in the environmental engineering sciences. But I'm bringing to you today a little bit of notes from the Red Queen. This is a very important evolutionary psychology book that gives you the evidence. It lays it out in a way that it's easy to read, easy to understand. Just takes time. You got to get through it. But I just do like a page a day until I'm inspired. Then I put the book down. But until I get inspired, I'll read. And so this section, very good, especially for what we do. And what we do with IMC Nation is so important and so impactful and so rare that men actually know how to lead, that they have a handle on their own psychology, their own state of mind. They have a process to develop, because it's not just because you become aware of your mindset and that you need communication skills that all of a sudden you have a tip-top mindset and the best communication skills. It's just becoming aware of your weakness. And now you got to start working out. You got to learn how, you got to figure it out. And then once you get in relationships, that's totally different. Totally different. Let me throw my hat down for that. Totally different. If you're not in a relationship and you're all mastering yourself, and then you think you're going to be good for a relationship, you haven't even begun mastering yourself until you're mastering yourself inside of a relationship. And that's very similar, especially for IMC guys that have multiple. I don't know guys outside that have multiple relationships ethically. I know there's the whole ethical non-monogamy movement, but I haven't seen any of them demonstrated. I just hear people talk about it. As far as successful, meaningful, multiple relationships that you grow in, that you handle we're setting the example. And so this section from I forgot why I was saying all that, but this section in the Red Queen is called "Why Do Rich Men Marry Beautiful Women?" Honestly, for me, not the most enticing title. As far as title goes, I already know. Okay, why do rich men marry beautiful women? I don't need to read about that, but I'm not one to skip a section, so I read. It's like 6 pages, I guess, 3 turns of a page. And there's a bunch I underline, but I'm only going to give you the most important underlined parts. Women. Are you listening? Let's see which women are on. Addison, what's up? And let's see if you guys are over here on the YouTubes or whatever, you can comment. I'm using a multiple stream platform, but I'll see all your comments. Okay. Instagram, I won't see your comments because it's streaming from my laptop to you guys. So you have a really good view of me because it's an HD camera or whatever, but I can't see your comments. So DM me with your questions as you're watching this. And then, I'll get to those later. Or follow on one of the other platforms, You could even be on Zoom because I posted this Telegram in the Telegram group. So if you guys want to join our IMC Telegram groups, the full access group, the IMC General Telegram group, or my podcast, Enlightened Masculinity Telegram group, that's the best group chat app to get announcements on like when we're live and stuff like that. So this first underlined, women who accepted casual sex left fewer rather than more descendants. Does it make sense to you that women in history, if they had lots of casual sex, or if they just had casual sex, non-committed sex from the guy, that they actually had less descendants? You might think, well, she'll get pregnant more. In modern times, they do get pregnant more, but childbirth is very life-threatening for women. Like if you don't have modern medicine and you're giving birth, Jesus, and then if you don't have a man to protect you while you're giving birth, who wouldn't just come and even animals, like throughout almost all human history, if you had casual sex as a woman, you didn't survive much of that childbirth. And then if you did, then who's going to help you raise the kid? You got a fucking kid on you. Like they had fewer surviving children than women who had committed relationships. And that's a fact. So that doesn't mean we should have those. I'm not saying that's why we should have relationships now. I'm saying that our genetics are born of generation after generation after tens, hundreds, thousands of generations that the women inside relationships were born from them, because we're not born from the women that fucked outside of relationships. They didn't have as many kids. And it's a big difference, even if it's only 10% difference per generation. You know what compound interest does. 1,000 generations later, and it's essentially nobody's born from casual sex. Everybody's born from, you could say with certainty, we're all born from committed relationships. So you trying to have casual relationships as a woman, Now, men who had casual relationships had more kids. Do you see the difference? That's not underlined, but that's what I'm saying. Okay. So there's a difference, right? I'm talking about differences. I'm Yogi Chris, captain of IMC Nation. IMC Nation is a movement of men worldwide applying philosophies and strategies of life that are collected and dispersed from, or whatever, collected and disseminated, just told by AZD. That's what these accounts are built around, AZD and IMC Nation. It's fashionable. Here's another underlined part. It's fashionable to maintain that only social repression prevents women from buying explicit pornography about men, or that only socially paranoid machismo drives men to promiscuity. Okay, so there's two things there. He's saying it's fashionable to say that it's paranoid machismo mentality. It's the paranoid, scared, paranoid machismo mentality that causes men, drives men to promiscuity. That men are not driven to promiscuity besides anything but paranoid machismo mentality. Paranoia. How is that fashionable? That doesn't make sense to me. That makes sense to a liberal somewhere in California. And also maintain that only social repression prevents women from buying explicit pornography. This is where it gets interesting. Is it repression that prevents women from buying pornography, or is it that they're not interested in pornography? We're going to get to that part. It's only 6 pages. Women pay attention to cues of wealth and power. Men pay attention to cues of health and youth. Wealth and power. What is pay? Women, they turn. Their heads will turn. Wealth and power, wealth and power, wealth and power. Now, the man with the great body has some level of power. No, you can't come live because you got to be messaging and be English. Your title, dude, can't come live. Men pay attention to health and youth. It doesn't mean that women aren't interested in health. It doesn't mean that men aren't interested in wealth. I mean, a wealthy woman is not that interesting, but it could be interesting. If you got $1 billion and you're in love with me, I'm interested, baby. You know what I mean? And yeah, you guys get it. Let's move on to the next underline. This is where it gets really hot and heated. High earning women value the earning capacity of their husbands more, not less, than low earning women. So even if a woman makes a boatload of money, she wants her man to make more. That's why women who pursue careers, they get less and less choices, less and less options, actually, of men that they would actually be submissive, quality men. They could get lots of, sugar boys or whatever you'd call it. They could be sugar mamas, but that's not fulfilling for the woman. So she cuts her options. Not to mention, if she spends time on her career, that means less time spent on her looks, her fashion, her femininity. So she becomes less attractive. Meanwhile, she cuts off options to men. All because she wants money. So they've sold her money. She becomes married to money instead. Even a survey of 15 powerful leaders of the feminist movement, feminist leaders, powerful feminist leaders, revealed that they wanted still more powerful men. Even a powerful feminist wants a more powerful man. This is, again, Red Queen. The Red Queen. You can read it. New York Times, notable book, which is pretty good for a science book. It's just evolutionary psychology. Not bad. Okay, continuing. I'm only reading the underlined part. My underlines. Women's sexual tastes become more rather than less discriminatory as their wealth, power, and status increase. Okay, well, that's fine. You should become discriminatory. I'm sure Melania Trump has high standards for that stuff. Okay, what's up, Z? Like it, share it. IMC Nation Facebook. Appreciate that. Leave a comment. I can see it here on the restream. Snooze that. Let's make sure that this is hold on 1 second while I manage videos here. I just check out this YouTube right quick. Yes, public. Good. Okay. All right. Continuing. There's only a page and a half left, I think. There can be no people on Earth or in history so steeped in the political. Oh, this is just funny. I don't need to read that. That part was a funny note for me. But the author had a funny commentary. 1 in 3. This is underlined. 1 in 3 men said they fantasized about more than 1,000 partners in their life. A third of men fantasized when they did scientific surveys. Meaning what? Scientific means you got to get approval for money to sponsor you from the government. So you got to write it out as a proposal that somebody agrees to give you money for. Then you got to go do it, then do a bunch of samples on it, statistics, math, numbers, keep it calculated, then write a paper about it and publish it. And that takes 2 out of 3 people that are scientists, that are PhDs or whatever. They vote to have it published. That's how you get peer review published. Then it's science. So not you just asking your friends. This is science. 1 in 3 men, a third of men, said they fantasized about more than 1,000 sexual partners. 1 in 3 men. It said only 8% of women, which is like 1 in 12. So 4 times as many men on a mass survey of thousands of people with proper samples that represents humanity, human nature. That's science. 4 times as many men fantasize about 1,000 plus partners. Women overwhelmingly fantasize about sex with a familiar partner. That's where we're going to get interesting. The difference between pornography and romance novels. Women fantasize about being familiar. They fantasize about being with their friend or someone that they are close with, their employer or something, their teacher. Hard porn. Okay, that's not related to this. The romance novel adheres. Okay. Often in romance novels, his character is described in detail, but not his body. She falls in love with his character, not his body. In romance novels, which is what makes all the money. Not feminism. Okay, here's the final part. This is the last underline. And really, I'll have to read a little bit more, but the data on sexual fantasy, which talks about, pornography and romance novels. Romance novels, overwhelmingly women. Pornography is men. Even like Playgirl magazine is mostly gay guys that buy it, not women. It's not for girls. The data on sexual fantasy reported, blah, 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 blah. I like this. The consumer-driven selective forces of a free market. Selective forces. That's the difference between feminism and the real world. Feminism theorizes the real world has consumer-driven selective forces. What's a consumer? That the consumer in life, in romance, in sex, that's the partner. That's the other person, the sexual partner. They're consuming, so they're volunteering to buy you as a person, as a romantic partner, as a sexual partner in a free market. Now, if it's arranged marriage, it's not a free market. But so consumer-driven selective forces. So that means public opinion, women's opinions, men's opinions. We could debate about what is beauty, but what is beauty is the consumer-driven selective forces, which have shaped historically stable contrast between male-oriented pornography and female-oriented romance novels. The ethnographic record, that means like human history, on human sexuality and the ineluctable implications, means like unavoidable, I think, of an evolutionary perspective on our species, taken together, imply the existence of a profound sex difference in sexual psychology. Sexual psychology. Oh, Jesus Christ. The part I wanted to read, this whole thing was built up for this. I didn't even underline. So it's not even my underlines. Okay. This is great. Man, I love TikTok for now, until I hate it. This is a far more enlightened view than the peculiarly uncharitable assumption. Let me get back to pin my video here. The peculiarly uncharitable assumption among the politically correct, like the people in California, that the reason women are not more turned on by nudity and pornography is that they're repressed. It is politically correct and fashionable to proclaim that women, they're not into pornography and nudity, male nudity, like they're not so infatuated with male nudity the same way men are with women's nudity, that it's because women are repressed. And therefore they should express that and be like that because they've been repressed. They've been victims. And the only reason they're not like more like men in their promiscuity, in their lust for male physique, the only reason they're not like that is because they've been repressed, and they should rebel and fight against their repression, become promiscuous, become vain and superficial like men. Nah, that's fashionable, that's politically correct, but that's not accurate because women, left to their own selective forces, the free market, they choose romance novels. They don't buy pornography. Some do, but most don't. And when they do, they're looking at women. They're not watching men. They care about shit. Okay, so there are clear gender differences in male and female psychology. And maybe 1 in 100, 1 in 1,000, a minority are different. And we could go and investigate if we wanted to, the hormone reasons, the child upbringing reasons, the trauma reasons. But by and large, women are attracted to character, wealth, and power. Men are attracted to health, youth, and the physical. They're attracted. That's not what keeps it, but that's the attraction. Okay, what do you guys think about that? Let's open it up, participation, before we wrap this up. This was just an inspired talk on gender differences, the capitalist versus socialist. The socialist, which is the politically correct, would have you think that men and women are equal, that they're the same, or that they should be, and that the only difference is the patriarchy. It's the culture that's conditioned and brainwashed men and women into thinking they're different. We gotta unbrainwash them. That's the socialist. The capitalist, which is the free market, admires and desires their fucking phone call. Admires and desires selective pressures, selective forces. What was the wording? Consumer-driven selective forces. Consumer-driven. That's what dating really is. That's what mating and relationships should be. That's why I never ever agree, although on the outside I may agree, but I never ever internally agree when a woman starts complaining about herself or some other woman that they were trapped in an abusive relationship. Hold on. Are you not an adult? Is this not a free market? Was someone holding a gun to your head? Is this not a consumer-driven free market? Were you not consuming him as your mate because you desired it? Why did you not, like, imagine you're paying for Netflix and you're just complaining like Netflix is abusing, blah, blah, blah. It's abusing my wallet. It's not giving me good shows. It's not the way it used to be. And you're just complaining about it. It's like, dude, just unsubscribe. Why don't you unsubscribe? Well, I'm trapped in this relationship, bro. Just like unsubscribe. Yeah, but I live with him and he's paying my rent. Well, so move out and pay your own rent. It's because you don't want to do that. You just want to complain about, you know what I'm saying? That's why I don't buy into that. It's just like, dude, you're such a slave. Okay, thoughts on Zerka having better game than you? Okay, I'm blocking you now, Lucas. That's what I warned you about last time because you're mindless. You're a mindless person. Maybe you're even AI, but I'm blocking you now. So, see ya. Okay, that feels refreshing. Anybody else? Let's see. Let's check the online comments here. Okay, looks like we're good on that. So what do we have coming up? We have sales and business mentorship with AZD starts this Saturday. Today is Wednesday, so in 3 days, sales. Man, the guys that are in that, right away, I'm going to get testimonies. Right away, I'm going to ask everybody on that first talk, send a video. I'm going to make a montage. And before I post it, I'm going to raise the price, and then I'm going to post the montage testimonies. Because I know everybody in that class is going to be blown away. Even if, and myself, I'll be blown away. That's how I know. Because I've been studying so much AZD. I've even had sales training with them before. But I know it's a demonstration that we're seeking. It's a demonstration that we need. We need the tonality. We need a couple of lines delivered. We need some questions, some reconnaissance, how you would do sales. We need it demonstrated. That's what's going to push our reference and then push us into action with certainty that makes us close. So if you're looking to get into business for yourself, or you're already in business for yourself, and you want to be selling more, basically making more money. If you're already in business for yourself, you should right away be able to make your money back within the month. The course is early bird right now, $597. You should right away, whatever you're selling, I don't care if you're in a third world country, you should, with the hustle and the skills, make that money back. And then if you're not in business for yourself, either way, if you're not or you are, how AZD teaches branding and how to brand yourself so that you're integrated, so that when you sell, you don't have to put on a fake persona. Just like when you game or when you're in relationships, you don't have to put on a fake persona. That's how you are. It's who you are. But you make yourself into a way that sells, into a way that seduces. And there's parts of you you let go of, and really that's not really you, because if you can let go of it, how is it you? Can you just let go of your hand and like your hand falls off? You can't let go of it. It's your body. So if it's really you, you can't let go of it. But most of that you could let go of, because if you were born somewhere else, you'd be different. If you were raised under a different family, you'd be different. So it's not you, whatever those habits are. But those habits keep you in a certain position, or they keep you stuck in the matrix, the web of society where you are. So you change your habits, change your communication. That shifts how you interact, your lines of communication in this web, this cobweb of social matrix. And it hurts. Like you rip off a Band-Aid, it hurts to shift your position. You unstick from the web and go and make new connections. You fall in love with that. And that's the process of sales. Because you're going to burn a lot of bridges when you start selling. You're going to ruffle a lot of feathers the wrong way when you start selling. And you're going to experience betrayals, because you're going to sell clients and they're going to be in love with your product and give you all the praise for a year, 2 years, 10 years. Eventually they may betray you. And it's like, man, I thought that person was like on board with everything. And that's why it's important to learn the mindset and the communication skills, because a lot of those problems have to do with communication problems, that you didn't communicate properly in the beginning. As you kept growing and developing, your communication changed, and the person who got confused, they lost you along the way. So getting training, propels you forward on that path, that evolution. So that's what's happening. The link should be in the description, I think, wherever this is posted. And I'm Yogi Chris, IMC Nation Captain, founder of Ninth Limb Yoga, saying sayonara from IMC headquarters now in Las Vegas. Praise the Lord. Jai Guru Dev.